All right, let me introduce you, Connie. This is my friend Connie Duty, and your friend too, and a 262 sister. So great. Okay, so if you are looking for something for the holidays, was that a lead in? Put a bow on this baby, and get them a something from that person and have them find them in the book. But Connie does something really important, something that sometimes people don't want to talk about, or it doesn't go to the top of their list, because it can feel a little flooding, or they haven't had good experience kind of figuring this out for themselves before. But there's angels in every sector, and I really believe that Connie is an angel in hers. She is a health and wellness insurance expert. She is an international best-selling author, and she's your best friend when you need insurance and support when it matters the most. I think that's so critical. We are going to have a conversation today, but here's something that you do not know about Connie, is that she is a dual citizen. When you hear people go, oh, you're a dual citizen, they don't really think of this country, but she's a dual citizen with Australia. I'm like, oh, that is so cool. That is so cool. The music that she's listening to, which was my first album, I got it for Christmas, because we used to sit around and listen to, well, if you know Hockey Night in Canada, in case you've never been to Canada, we like our hockey. And we're kind of picky about it. So it's Hockey Night in Canada. And then right after that would be the John Denver show. So my first album is John Denver, which I just recently rebought about 4 months ago. So John Denver, she's loving John Denver. And everybody is going to get a mini consult. There's going to be a PDF and a mini consult on something that you want to talk about, because these kind of things can be personal. These kind of things can be personal. And then so those are mini, and then someone is going to earn themselves a beautiful full consultation and being able to spend time with this incredible women. So, Connie, shall we have a little conversation here?
Please.
Please. Well, look at
it. Let's do that.
We've spent some time together, and one of the things is this idea around, medical or health or insurance or preventative health, medical insurance, things that we know we need to do but don't necessarily do it. Why do we wait until we're hurting before we act?
That's a good question. We anticipate, and we think we do want to, with insurance and that, protect our finances, and that's really good. But we're protecting our finances, but we're also protecting our health, and we want to be preventative. We want to have something there that protects us. And right now, this is the time of year, especially in this season, it's a Medicare season. So that's my main business at this time. I'm going 12-hour days, 7 days a week, literally I am, for just a season, and answering the questions on, and I help ask the questions that people don't even think to ask. What about my doctors and my prescriptions, and how do I anticipate, and how do I protect myself? And so that's where I'm at right now. So, yeah.
Well, we talked about it, and thank you for that, right? These are, please do share as we're talking, things that people don't ask or don't know to ask. I mean, one of the things that when I'm talking to someone and I don't know their industry, I don't know it really, really, really well. I might know the product, but I don't know the industry. One of the things that I will ask, and I will even coach my clients to ask, is, what is it that I don't know? What is it that I'm not asking you? And I know that we had that conversation around, sometimes people don't know, but also women tend to, by nature, and hopefully that's shifting, put other people first, worry about them first, not worry about our health or our wealth, and then we may find ourselves in difficult situations as we start to blossom, I'm going to say.
Yeah. Well, I recognize, talking to this group of people, you're dealing with, especially as I've listened, an energetic, a hardworking, a planning, a go forward people. Well, I know that if they're women, I also know at the same time, they reach out and they take care of everybody else, whether it's their parents or their spouse or their kids or their friends or whatever. And these people that I'm talking to right now are the best of the best, as far as they balance more they juggle more things in the air than most people can. And you can't throw that many balls in the air and still always plan on taking care of yourself. And if a ball drops, it's to take care of yourself. Um, so that's one of the things that I recognize talking to this audience. There's a part of me that says, and this is the health and wellness one, I'm thinking, yes, Deb, I'm the right person to be here. And then I'm thinking, Deb, why did you invite me to this? Because everybody's excited and planning and going forward. And what I'm going to talk about is a little bit different. Um, for me to tell my story a little bit, and you can read it in the book, the 262 book, Connie Duty Towards the Back. Um, I packed up all my stuff when I was 50 and put it in a storage unit. And I moved back to my mother-in-law's back bedroom. And as I told my husband, every woman's dream in her mid-50s to live in her mother-in-law's back bedroom. It wasn't finances that took us there. My mother-in-law had dementia and she was becoming wheelchair bound and she was there. And so as I tell people, I did for her everything you would do for a brand new baby. The people that are here can hear how graphic that is. And whoever dreamed, my mother-in-law was as beautiful as God ever made a woman. My mother-in-law was dignified. My mother-in-law was very intelligent. My mother-in-law was very energetic, get out of her way. She's going to make it happen. And usually she did make it happen until the dementia took that away from her. And it took away her mind first, and then it took away her ability to control her body. And so I got to move back into her home. I found my in-laws didn't want me. They weren't excited. They weren't excited. They didn't want me as a daughter-in-law to pick up that part of their lives. They wanted a different relationship with me, but it was needed. And I was glad to do it. They weren't as glad to warmly receive me because it was hard for them, but it was easier for me. So
Wow.
that was that. So
when you were sharing that short story with me privately, and we had that conversation, one of the things that you talked about, that which is why you're here, is because you are talking to a group of women that are very giving, period. Right?
yes.
I mean, look at the work that Susan
Yes.
does. Look at the work that,
Yes.
you know what I mean? She's like helping people get their teens all, and what can happen is that if we are the ones that are going to be called upon, and or that what that did with you, if you don't mind me sharing, is that stopped income. That stopped income.
It did. Yeah.
And unexpectedly stopped income.
Yeah.
And you don't know the duration of that income. And look, I'm not telling people to go run and get Connie's insurance. I'll get a piece here or something. But the highlight of that was that that's not something we ask about or talk about or think about.
Yeah.
I mean, many times we might think about our parents or our kids, but we certainly don't think other people's when they still have kids and things. And sometimes we find ourselves in roles taking care of things that take time away, which as entrepreneurial spirited, I'll say at the least, women may not put in their, put that forward thinking when they're making those plans. Financial plans were all great to build wealth, but I think what you were talking about in sharing that was that, well, that was a real wealth adjustment.
Yeah. One of the things that's interesting, I am 68 years old, 68 years young. So when I was born, my grandparents in my lifetime, not that far away from some of you, lived 2.5 years past retirement. So it wasn't a big deal, because of the medication. Back then, open heart surgery meant you broke the rib cage, and we're praying, and it might not be, they might not live. And cancer meant, how long is that? We were deathly afraid of all those things. Took us out. They don't now. They don't always. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But because of that, we're living longer. As we're living longer, we're living sicker. And as we have longer times where we live where we need somebody to come alongside, which wasn't needed before. So for people to come alongside, it's about one in two of us will be a caregiver for somebody else, whether it's a spouse or a parent. Sometimes it's a kid, whatever. So that is one in two of us. And like you said, for me, that I was able to get those years back and is able to get my career back going and that too. But what that means is if I was still taking care of my mother-in-law, which that was a possibility that I did, what does that do for me when it's my turn? And what does it do for my dignity? And who then all of a sudden I don't have decisions about I want care outside the home and I want my kids to supervise it, but I don't want them to do it. Sometimes I don't have those options without that money. Having planned ahead of time gives you options and gives you ability to do that. So a lot of times I sit down with people of all ages and I talk about options and how to get there. And it's as individual as your thumbprint. It is on our needs and where we are in life. Yeah.
I mean, without it making sound like, woo, we've just kind of switched energies. I think much like us listening to,
That's what
no,
I'm
really,
going
honestly, but I think it is again, the whole philosophy is around empowerment. And what I think surges empowerment is education.
Yes,
in all aspects of our life. We talk about health and wealth, and we think about health, we think about a beach. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I think that raising the questions, bringing attention to, whether it's taking your book and turning it into a movie or taking a look at things from a future standpoint. But more than that, I think it's about having someone that you can trust to have those conversations with, because I think those also, as you start to have conversations and get knowledgeable and get information and be treated like a person, right? Like have someone talk to you. Those are really super important things. And I think the more that we get into the world of digital, we watch things like commercials or TVs or things where you can just go apply for stuff online, but do they know you? And I just think it was really beautiful for you to agree to come on today to highlight the fact that it is still a person-to-person world, and that you matter. It's important. Your family matters, and that you're available to ask the questions that people don't know they should be asking.
Yeah. Knowledge gives you options, and thinking early, those options then are easy. They maintain your dignity, and and it protects your finances big time.
Yeah.
So and it's as individual as your own thumbprint. It really is.
Yeah. Well, we can see why you are in an abundant stage of your business. That's what we call it. And thank you for what you do. And obviously, she has opened the door for any of you to be able to have a conversation and find that out, because again, like she said, it's a personal journey. One person's going to win a full session with her. Sounds like she's going to put you in her calendar for a couple of weeks from now, but that's okay. But that's okay. So I'm going to ask a question. If you don't know how the gifts go, very easy. You are going to go to the chat and you are going to fill your digital swag bag. Everyone is dropping the most incredible conversations and invitations, and just go fill that digital bag. Our streaming family, our women's channel family, you're going to go to the public Facebook group page. Now, these women are not going to be putting anything in there till the end of the summit, because that may not be something that you've joined yet. We're going to wait for you to join. We're going to accept you in, and then you're going to go shopping, and you're going to be able to pick up all sorts of beautiful things. And these women are going to go put their gift over there and give a bit more information, and you can reach out to them through Facebook. And one person is going to win a full time with Connie. And I'm going to ask a question, and how that works is you're going to answer that the best to your knowledge with your email. You might be right, you might be wrong. We don't know, but if you don't put your email, if you are right, oh well, we can't find you. We can't find you. So the question that I'm going to ask you is that Connie said something twice, so that if you were listening, you would hear. She says that we are as individual as our and it's something that you need for writing. It's something that you need, it's a part of your body. If that's helpful, then you can put that in the chat. So let's show some love and some hearts. And thank you so much for educating, reminding, informing, and letting us know. So some hearts and some claps and some, if you don't know how to do the hearts, you just go to the reactions on the bottom there, and you just hit the reactions and you can, there you go. It looks like lots of you already know how to do that. So thank you, my friend. We appreciate you and your.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I enjoy being a part of this group.
Yeah.
What a blessing. Thank you.
Thank you so much.